Hi everyone, welcome to animation prompt video number 4, and in today's video we're going to be doing a head turn. So today things are getting real. They're getting really difficult because before we did just a ball, and then from the ball we bounced it around and we made an object fall. But today the task is to do a head turn. So I'm gonna go ahead and concentrate on this one and how we're going to try to make it happen. But I'm going to start drawing my head from the side, of course. I'm going to start drawing it from the side, and we're going to try to do the frames that come after that to try to, make it go around. So yesterday we practiced how to draw a head, and I think there is about 3 or 4 frames that are very important when we're doing a head turn. So I'm gonna start by drawing him or her facing up on the side, and I'm trying my level best to capture the head here in a manner that puts anatomy into consideration. It's gonna be the back of our head. Let me try to make it rounded and go behind the ear here. This is when your drawing abilities are going to be really tested. And the thing is, you have to draw this consistently in order for it to look like it's one unit. So this is when your drawing abilities, I said, are going to be really tested. So if this is the eye line, I'm going to have my brow around here. And I'm going to have my eye coming around here and sinking back in the socket. If I can only draw an eye, I give him those big eyes. And at first, I'm going to try to make it just plain. No details whatsoever. And just try to capture the animation of a head turn. And then we could add details and clean it up, which I don't think we're going to have all the time for in this video. So that doesn't look bad at all so far. I'm gonna go ahead and add. So I'm going to do about 3 different frames. Let me actually add a layer here. I'll go on layer number 2, and I want him to turn his head around like this. So we're gonna be going this direction, and the top of his head, I want it to go in first and then turn around, face this way. So those are the directionals that I'm gonna be following. And if I draw, this is going to be the eye line, right? Actually, let me do this. Let me draw the lines exactly where some of the features of the face are. I want this to be the face. I want that to be the eye line. That's gonna be the head. So I'm actually kind of putting like a guide of where I want these features to be rolling. And the bottom of the head, I want it to go around like this. So those are gonna be kind of like the guides that I'm gonna have that I wanted to follow. And I'm gonna go to layer number 2. I'm gonna go to layer number 1, but frame number 2, and I'm gonna start to draw the final pose. I'm gonna draw the first pose, and I'm gonna draw the final pose. And after drawing the final pose, I will then go ahead and draw the in-betweens and try to make it, feel a lot smooth. But let me draw the first and the final. All right, so let's go. We're attempting to draw the final pose now. So the final pose is going to be the total opposite of this one. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go over here, and still I'm on my layer number 1. I'm gonna bring out my selection tool, and I'm going to copy this, and I'll go to my final layer and I'll paste it. But I'm gonna flip it. So I want the first pose to be pretty much the final pose, but just turned around to face the other side. Just turned around to face the other side. And that looks good right there. And now I'm gonna go start to draw the in-betweens. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 layer in between. But to see where I'm coming from and where I'm going to turn on onion skin to be able to see 1 frame before and 1 frame after. Let me add it to 2 frames. So I can be able to see the one that I started with and the one that I ended with. Oh, actually that was wrong. Let me go ahead and delete this. Remove. Why I was not seeing it is because I added a frame that was outside. I want to add a frame in between these two. So I'm going to go on the first one, and I'm going to add a frame up front. So my onion skinning was actually right. I need only one frame before and 1 frame after. And now I'm starting to draw the frames in between. Remember, when you look at the guide, you can see they go this way first, and then they turn around this way. So that's the task I have to show in the second frame, or the frame that is going to be in between these 3. First of all, if I take this off, layer number 2, and I play what I have, you can see that it just goes boom, 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 boom. It just snaps from one side to the other. But I'm going to add an in between. Like, this is supposed to be the one that is going to be perfect in between. So to do that, I'm going to come over here, and of course I have my ball, and I know where his chin is supposed to be. So his chin is going to be right around here, and the top of the head is going to be right around here. Let's sink in. Let's sink it in. And draw. Actually, you know what? Let me, my onion skinning needs a little bit of, let me make them colored so I can be able to see exactly which one is which. So now you can see the one before is red, the one after is yellow, but my in between is gonna be the color of what I'm drawing, black. So I'm gonna place his ears where they're supposed to be, right there on the line still. This is the perfect in between. His eyebrows are gonna be right around there. And his eyes. At this point, it's just like a mannequin. It can go either way, and you can show that in the after animation. For example, if I want to add hair to make it look more feminine, I can do that. I don't like how sided his eyes are. Feels like the eyes are way too much on the side, but I'll adjust that in a little bit. And you have to keep going back and forth until you get them right. But for today's video is not the perfection. Today's video is trying to figure out the concept of a head turn. And his nose is gonna come over here. Just simple features. Just simple features. We're not dreading anything at this point. So if I play what I have, you can see the head is snapping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But here, he has kind of a, what do you call them, fish eyes. Because it doesn't look like the fish, the eyes, it doesn't feel like the eyes are connected right. So what's gonna happen, I'm gonna go ahead and select the eyes, just the eyes. The one on the left, move it in a little bit so we can have our proportions right. I'm gonna go and select the one on the left. And nudge it in a little bit. And if I play what I have now, it looks a lot normal and does not make you that dizzy at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the entire thing, because remember, in here, in the mid turn, his head is gonna have to go down a little bit. And if I play what I have now, you can see it's starting to look a lot normal. And of course, we're gonna start doing in-betweens here now. So we're adding frame number 2. And on frame number 2, now I'm drawing, frame number 2 is going to be between frame number 1 when he's facing right on the side and when he's snap right in the middle. This is going to give us kind of a 3 kind of quarter-ish to his face. So it's going to be like so. And guys, there is no shortcuts to learning how to animate. You have to draw every day. Like literally, there's no shortcuts. So I'm gonna turn off my onion skinning for a bit. Turn it off. And just try to get, now that I got the posture of the head, I'm gonna just try to get, the features fitting right without being influenced so much by the frames before. Now if I turn it back on, not bad at all. But I'm gonna go in between 3 and 4 and add one more frame. So this is gonna be the one that is in between the middle frame and the last frame. So to do this, I'm gonna go ahead and go to frame 2. Actually, let me turn off my onion scanning at this point. But I'm gonna copy everything on frame 2. Copy. And paste it on frame 4, but flip it. And now, this is when I need to turn on my onion scanning so I can place it in the right position. So bring it down a bit, so slightly. And if I play what I have, you can see the head is starting to turn now. It feels like he's rolling his head over and over again like this. And if I knock down in the project settings, if I knock down this to about 9 frames, it will start to make some sense now, a little bit more sense. You can see he's turning his head now. It's making a lot more sense. There is no anticipation, there is no squishing or after animation, but you can see the concept is there. Now, to make this look a little bit realistic, you'll have to put a little bit of anticipation. For example, in the first frames, you may want to push his head a little bit more to my left, or to the screen's left, before it starts to turn. And you could draw about 3 or 4 frames there. And then after it turns all the way to complete, You may want to hold it for a little bit or put it in add a little bit more frames to exaggerate the after animation. But for now, you have a head turning on the side, and that's pretty good. And I think we're gonna go ahead and add 2 more frames to make it to give it kind of like a little bit more anticipation. So we're gonna go over here and we're gonna add another frame between 1 and 2. And in here, we're gonna be drawing something that is close to what frame 1 is on the side. Oh, pencil. So we're gonna be drawing something close to his side, a lot close to frame 1. A lot close to frame 1. But to just give it a little bit of anticipation, we're gonna push it down. We're gonna push it down some more. So this side is a little longer. And remember, at that point, it's just starting to show us the other side of the cheekbone. A little like that. And his eye, remember, in frame 1, you don't see the other eye at all. In frame number 3, you see the other eye almost all. So in this frame number 2, we're going to be wanting to see just part of his right eye. So just part of it. Just part of it, not too much. And just part of his brow. And of course, I made my work simple by drawing just a teeny nose in there and a teeny mouth in there. And we're going to draw a little bit of brow here, his left brow, and give him an eye. His left eye is all visible. But here, to add a little bit to our anticipation, we're going to select the entire drawing and we're going to push it down a little bit and out. Just a little nudge. And if I play, you can see it slows down a little bit at the beginning and then speeds up a little bit to turn around. And that's what I wanted to do by adding that 1 more frame. 1 more frame like that could make a whole difference. And what's going to happen now, I'm going to go to frame number 6, copy it, paste it in front, just to hold it in there a little bit. And to give me a little bit of an impression of after animation, I'll just move it to my right a little bit, not too much, a little bit. And copy it and paste it forward more, just so I can hold that frame for a little longer so it doesn't feel like he's snapping his neck back and forth. So I'm going to hold it for about 4 frames. And you can see that. So when you play it, it goes and stays there for about 4 frames, and then it turns around again. And I like that. I like that. And I think this is actually very rough, but you guys get the idea of how to do a head turn. So there is one thing in here that is bugging me, which I didn't see at the beginning, and it's this circle, my reference circle that I have in here from the first drawing that we pasted at the last frame as well. So I'm going to try to get rid of some of it. I'm going to need a hard eraser just to get rid of some of it, because I don't like the impression it gives us in there. So I gotta get rid of it in about 5-6 frames, including the first one. Because remember, our first frame was the exact paste of the, our last frame is the exact paste of the first frame. And so if you want to be serious about this, this is the time you can go ahead and create a new layer on top of this one and start doing cleaned up drawings on top of these ones. These ones give you kind of a sketch. And we're going to go to the first one, frame number 1, and delete that same reference line that I drew. I usually start all my drawings of the head like that. I draw a circle. And you can see now it looks a lot cleaner. So to clean this up, what I usually do is I just have to add a layer on top of that, and I'm going to call the first layer sketch. I don't need this guide layer anymore, so I'm going to delete it. If I want, I could bring it back. I could draw more other different guides, and I'm going to call this sketch 2. So you can have a second sketch on top of that, and then later on, when you're sure about where your lines are supposed to be, then you can go ahead and ink it. But you can see in 11 frames, we were able to successfully do a little bit of a head turn over there. So here you may also want to knock down the opacity on your sketch, on your first sketch layer, so you can be able to see. And at this point, you don't need the onion scanning. You want to concentrate on the on that one image that you're drawing. And so this is when you come in now and go on top of that one, on top of your original sketch, and create a more vivid sketch with your lines a little bit more pointed. And remember, after you do these lines that are more pointed, you're going to need to ink your work. So you may need to still do this again and adjust your lines to put them exactly where you want them. It's a long process, guys. There's no shortcuts to animating. You have to be able to learn how to draw and feel comfortable in your own skin with your own drawings. Because remember, animation is all about that one drawing being repeated over and over again. And so when I usually try to do a character, I try to get the gist of exactly what I want him to look like, and I keep drawing it over and over and over again so you can be comfortable drawing that character in different poses, in different postures, in different proportions, and all that. Because you're gonna have to move him. It means you're gonna need to draw him from different directions, different postures, different different expressions, facial expressions, and all that stuff. And so practice, practice, practice. And if you know, especially that now you know what you want your character to look like, you can actually go ahead and try to create like a 3D render of them. So you can just keep moving it around for references. From different directions, from different postures. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll be back again with another video animation prompt tomorrow. But today's prompt, we successfully did a head turn. Or at least you get the idea of what a head turn is supposed to look like. And you can see only those two frames that I made kind of a more vivid sketch. You can see they look a lot better. If I play it. All right. Thank you so much, guys, again for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.